Hey everyone, what is going on? Happy Libra season. I trust that you all are doing well. And as you're watching this too, I want you just to tap into your intuition and just see how you're feeling. What do you feel is on the horizon for you and what these next 4 weeks have in store for you? So many times when I hold consults for my clients, whether it be tarot, astrology, coaching, past life regression, they already know deep down what's coming through for them. And by cultivating that intuition, being mindful and setting intentions and having that as a routine, I guarantee you're going to increase that autonomy and going to increase that strength. Because remember, just like when you go and work out at a gym, you're training that muscle. So many people give away their power and autonomy to spiritual gurus when they already know those own answers. So if you haven't done so yet, I would strongly recommend, given that we just had the autumnal equinox, which initiated Libra season, to take time to journal, to set a few goals, to set in few intentions, because this Libra season, for everyone out there watching who is an astrologer, an astrologer, because there's a lot of enthusiasts, but who have looked at these transits, know what the retrogrades, and I'm not even just talking about Mercury retrograde, I'm talking all the retrogrades. So we're going to break that down, give you a heads up so that you have all the knowledge and information and the foresight to navigate this Libra season and allow for breakthroughs and miracles, because there's so much air energy that's going to be circulating. But with that being said, there's a lot of opportunity for people's opinions, fears, and doubts to be projected onto you and leave you in a tailspin or leave you unsure of what you want. And I mean, Libras are known for being indecisive. This may amplify that, where anxiety and fear is even more so. So we want to mitigate that with knowledge and empowering ourselves accordingly, okay? So if we're talking about the equinox that we just had, if anyone had any fun celebrations or rituals, please feel free to share. I'm always curious how people celebrate these beautiful energetic shifts. But equinox literally means equal parts day and night, right? So we now are coming into Libra season, which is a beautiful representation of the scales, equal parts day, equal parts night. Northern hemisphere, we're now entering into autumn. Southern hemisphere, we're moving into spring. So we're balancing the light and the dark, the masculine, the feminine, work and rest. A lot of people are burnt out right now. I'll tell you that right now. And so if you need that time to potentially hermit, come back to yourself and recalibrate, this is literally the perfect time. It's so beautiful how these planets work and when these retrogrades come through, because we need it. And so you can ask yourself, where do you need to incorporate more balance into your life? Physically, mentally, spiritually, mind, body, soul, work, family, relationships, maybe all of the above. Because we've also had Venus in Scorpio for a hot minute, and I've been hearing this from a lot of people, and the common question is, should I break up with my partner? Should I get divorced? And not to make light of that, but it's just such a Venus and Scorpio energy of, is this relationship going to grow or evolve or not? Venus and Scorpio has no time for surface level anything. And so as we enter into Libra season and we still have Venus finishing her transit in Scorpio, you may feel also that you are not settling for what you settled before, for these low offers, for you not showing up in your own strength and power and autonomy. So this is a beautiful opportunity to come back into yourself, to take the time to recalibrate, and using this Libra energy, and Libra being a more social sign, being an air sign, and with this influx of air energy, it can manifest in two ways. I feel like the first half of Libra season may be more introspective, especially as Mercury is about to station retrograde. We have Venus finishing up her transit in Scorpio until the 7th of October. So if you feel a bit more reclusive, like you want to do that internal work before you go outwards, that is common. If you have a lot of air energy in your chart, you may feel like it is a breath of fresh air, or like you are revitalized to go out and to converse and to connect. But I do know a lot of my colleagues, friends, clients are like, I can feel this momentous shift as if something is about to break through. I don't know what it is, but I can feel it. And a lot of people are taking time to retreat or spend time on their own. Because even if we're looking at essential dignity in astrology, the sun is in its fall in Libra and Mars is in Libra right now. It's in detriment in Libra. So you may not know what that means, but the sun and Mars don't love being in Libra, technically speaking. And so with Mercury about to go retrograde in Libra, it is a time to show where you're fighting, if you're fighting yourself, if you're fighting in relationships, if what you're fighting for isn't working anymore, if you've kept going back and back into work, into love with your family, and you're not being heard and your boundaries aren't being respected, now we get to come back into balance. So note that, because a lot of people are feeling frustrated, fatigued with everything that's going on in the world and personally. So now is the time to do that work, so that when we get to the end of this year, when all these planets station direct, there's no excuses. So if we're talking about prominent air energy, please remember what happened during Aquarius season, especially during that Aquarius new moon, which I think was on the 12th or the 13th of February. We had 6 planets in Aquarius. We're going to feel a similar energy throughout Libra season, because all throughout Libra season, we're going to have 5 planets in air signs: Sun, Mercury, Mars in Libra, Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius. And then when we have that new moon in Libra, I believe on the 6th of October, that'll make 6 planets. So that's why I'm saying you want to make sure that your mental and spiritual practices are strong, because we want to cultivate these intentions, all the work that you've been doing to ensure that your relationships mirror what you truly believe. If we're talking about air energy as well, the songs that we listen to, the podcasts that we listen to, the news and the information that's disseminated, this is all affecting you on a very subconscious level. It even really pains me, and I've heard this from many clients, that they had a palm reading, or they had someone at a crystal shop, or they had a psychic at some point in their life say, you'll never achieve love, or you'll never be successful. And they've carried that one message with them throughout their entire life, based on what one random person said to them. It actually kind of blows my mind, because you can have whatever you want, truly. And the dreams and the downloads that are meant for you for a reason. So please, if there are people or accounts on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok that bring you anxiety, even if they're a friend or they're an acquaintance, there's someone that you once thought were intelligent or funny, but it's no longer bringing you joy, you're allowed to change the conditions. Every single website gives us new terms and conditions that we comply to. They're like, if you continue to use our platform, you comply to these terms and conditions. We get them all the time, we just delete them. But you're allowed to change the terms and conditions on who and what has access to you. People always pigeonhole Libra as well into being about aesthetics and beauty and love, because Venus is Libra's ruling sign. But the scales also represent commerce, business, trade, fair trade, fairness, what's just. If you think about doing business with someone, even back in the day in markets, or even Facebook Marketplace, which can be like the Wild West when people are trying to negotiate, that's all Libra energy. And Saturn, which speaks about business and work ethic as well, is exalted in the sign of Libra. And a lot of people that I know who are amazing at business have prominent Libra energy, or they're very interested and successful at trading stocks. So yes, Libras like to shop and look good, but shopping is also using your energy and expenses in a way that's going to benefit you and bring you to higher love, higher power, higher luxury. It's all money. So for all you Libras out there that are great at business, I see you, and it just never gets talked about. I understand why. It's just people doing those clickbait or stereotypical memes. But yeah, the markets, merchants, fairness, business. So this isn't just love, because some people may not be focusing on love, or their marriage or relationships are strong, but what you're investing your money into, your time into, your energy into, are these energies balanced or not? And you're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to change the terms and conditions as to who and what has access to you. So don't be afraid to do so, because these are the energies that we're working with. It's really also beautiful too when we look at just simply the astrological seasons change. So if we have Leo being more outspoken, solar, letting her hair down, enjoying this energy, and then we have Virgo being a bit more astute and studious and really going through the fine details to make sure that everything is running smoothly. It allows Libra to have fun and to socialize and negotiate. And then we get into Scorpio, it's going even further down. So we have these new relationships, these new business contracts. How can we take it to the next level of commitment and loyalty? And those personal planets also tell a similar story, and you see them weaving in and out. We've talked about how Venus is still in Scorpio, and it's very interesting when we have that new moon in Libra, 6 planets in air signs. Venus is at 29 degrees Scorpio. So the pinnacle of everything we've been learning in that transit is also going to take place during that new moon. And so for some of you, if you've really been cultivating that deep desire, relationship, connection, loyalty, that new moon energy, you can use it to catapult that and expand it accordingly, okay? So that's something I want you to keep in mind, is that the first half of Libra season will be a bit more maybe intense, introspective, to allow for the expansion and new relationships, especially when Venus is in Sag. I feel like that's more like a Godiva energy, adventurous, having fun in more ways than one. So we have to do the work first though, so we get that greater love, that higher love. And I also mentioned songs before. I really think that's such a powerful way, because a lot of people don't automatically resonate with meditation or journaling, or they find it tedious. Well, you can have a playlist that has powerful lyrics or powerful songs to inspire you or to write a narrative into your subconscious. I say this, like, one of my biggest hacks or tricks is to have a playlist that you always go to every single day, or it will benefit you if you listen to those empowering songs. And even before I went on this live, the song Higher Love, the remix by Kygo and Whitney Houston, even one of the lines, it's like, in this whole world, what is fair? What is fair? What is fair to you in relationships? What's fair to you in business? Is it fair that you should be working 5 days a week for a boss that doesn't respect you? Is it fair that you bend over backwards and have friends that don't respect your time and energy? If that isn't fair to you, rewrite the narrative. It might be fair to the other reciprocating party, and it's what they're used to. There are certain demographics in this world that have never faced adversity, challenge, opposition. They think they can do whatever they want. And if we perpetuate that and we allow these people and these energies to do that to us, we're just as much to blame. And being intentional with your words. Libra does have a tendency in this Libra energy of people pleasing, of making sure that everyone else is happy, but sometimes at the expense of themselves. Kind of like this oxymoron. They want everyone else to be happy, even though they're not happy. So where are you compromising your happiness? What's fair to appease others? And how can we better situate our energy so that moving forward, the scales are balanced? Number one. Number two, Mercury retrograde. People like to say a lot about Mercury retrograde. Most of it is interesting and comical. What I will say is that a very common trope of Mercury retrograde is old lovers or old relationships coming back to knock in the DMs. With Mercury retrograde being in Libra, this would be the time where that actually could come through. And we just talked about how putting up greater boundaries, ensuring that the love that you deserve is something that we're moving into. The universe has a funny way of testing our boundaries to make sure that we don't settle for less than we deserve. If someone comes back and tries to negotiate or propose offers of love, and it's 80 or 90% there, but it's not 100%, it's like, these are not the terms and conditions. This is not what I've said you can do to have access to me and my energy. It'd be like if you had a service that cost $200 an hour and someone's like, I want to pay you $150. No, the price is $200. What is your time worth is also something that you can really evaluate. If you're constantly giving your time and energy and have no time for yourself, that's something we get to evaluate. But really do note that as we're going into that higher love, greater relationships, how are you showing up? Do your words match your actions? And are these lovers or old offers aligned? And sometimes people do the work. Sometimes. A lot of times I advise clients that if there was turbulence in the relationship, or if someone cheated, or if the trust was broken, that both parties engage in therapy and do work independently before they even try and come back together. That's just my belief. If there is a really hard separation or that bond is severed, to try and come back and mend it after a very short period of time, neither party has done the work to come at it with renewed insight or clearer intentions. That's my opinion. Even if we're talking about research that I've done when I was in university, to initiate a new habit and make it last, you have to do it for 6 months. 6 months. And if you stop initiating that action at any time, you relapse and you have to start that 6 months period again. So to initiate a new habit and make it last, so you won't falter, that's just something I see in relations all the time. Even you're allowed to have that expansion in your friendships, in your relationships with family, in your colleagues. And I think there is something beautiful that Venus is in its domicile in Taurus and Libra in spring and autumn. And spring, this new life coming through in Taurus season in the northern hemisphere. Libra, the leaf shedding and that energy dying per se, or getting ready for a new season. And there's beauty in death, and a lot of people fear it or are afraid of confrontation because it means that someone might be mad or something might end. But if we're truly invested in doing this work, wouldn't you want a stagnant relationship or something that isn't working to die, so that that layer of skin can be shed and you can have that phoenix rising moment or that huge level up? Be like letting go of all this baggage and finally stepping into that beautiful new pit stop or hotel room. It's like you get to cycle through this. And I find in relationships, and when I talk to clients, one person is constantly working and evolving and changing, and one person is not. They're not doing any of that work. So you're trying to go higher, and the other friend, lover, family member might not be. And so you get to decide whether or not you want to engage in that, if the relationship ends, or if this relationship can die to be reborn. It's your choice. I always find autumn extremely beautiful. It's such a vibe. Even Kelly Surtees talked about this, how when the leaves fall down, it creates that mulch, it creates fertilization for the soil to be reborn and to allow these energies to come in anew when spring happens in 6 months. And so that can also be something that resonates for you in terms of these relationships aren't dying. Energy can never get destroyed. So when you stop putting energy into something, a business, a relationship, a bad habit, that energy has to come into a different vessel, into a different person that is meeting you at your level all the time. I also find it really beautiful if we're talking about Mercury retrograde with regards to lovers coming back. People can always tell when you've leveled up. You don't need to post anything on social media. Your own frequency has leveled up. And so now all these other people are going to want a piece of that pie. I always use the analogy, let's say your best friend from high school won the lottery. It'd be very tempting to DM them and say, hey girl, how are you doing? Like, we should catch up. You probably just want a free lunch. You don't actually care about them and all the work they've done or had this beautiful benefic energy happen. When you've put in the work and an old lover, an old friend is like, I'd love to catch up. Most times they just want to take advantage of you and your energy, or get all your insight or information for free on how you made this beautiful transition happen without offering anything in return. Again, the balance. Not always, but if you haven't heard from someone in 6 to 8 months and you've done all this work and they just want to have sex with you or take advantage of you, why would we even engage that energy or spend that time in transit on a meal, giving all of your hard work to that. That doesn't even make any sense. So it's up to you. If you feel like that friend, lover, colleague is on your level, or you can negotiate terms that allow this relationship to grow, proceed. Retrogrades are a great time to rehash the energies, especially depending on the signs that are coming through. So that Mercury in retrograde will happen between September 27th and October 18th. And we've already experienced some pre-retrograde shadow energy. And if you want more information about this, our Mercury retrograde workshop is now available on our website. So feel free to invest if you feel called. But like we said, with commerce and business also connected to Mercury, I had a situation last retrograde where my credit card was just declined. It was like fraud. I was trying to buy a desk and I was like, why is this happening? Like these little things where Mercury is just being a prankster. So it's a great time to bless and protect your business, your credit cards, social media, all of these things. Again, being intentional with our mind and our words so that these little hiccups don't happen. And if they do, it's just kind of like smiling along. I found from personal experience that the delay, while being frustrating, actually works out in your favor because it gives you a second chance, or you're able to get information that you wouldn't have got had that delay or block happened in the first place. Because Mercury is affiliated with Hermes. It's like Hermes stealing Zeus's carriage and taking it to the underworld, and Zeus is like, who stole my carriage? And Hermes laughing in the corner. But if you give energy to that and you get more and more frustrated, it's just Hermes, Mercury laughing along the entire time. If you can let it go and being like, that just wasn't meant for me, or this delay was supposed to happen because I need to approach this with a greater perspective or fresh eyes. From personal experience, it works out way better. And often it's because we haven't been clear with our intentions and we're allowing our emotions to take hold. Because we live in an instant gratification type culture where we need things now. And if it doesn't happen now, we can't take it. We don't have time. We're busy. My favorite thing is when people say they're busy and then they're constantly on social media or dating apps or wasting their time on things that don't matter. There are people that are busy, but your busy is relative to other people's busy. Someone who is in high school studying for exams is also busy in relation to someone who owns 7 businesses. Everyone is busy, and that relative energy is still valid. But on an absolute level, being busy can have its own definition. And that's also if you want to enter into a relationship or negotiations with someone for business or love, respect their time. Again, Saturn being exalted in Libra and making sure that what you have to offer is actually valuable. And this is something too that's come up for me personally with regards to dating and love, and stopping yourself because you think you're not ready, or because you have to be perfect or be at that certain level of income before you can enter into a business or a relationship. I went on a date with a guy, and afterwards I'm like very direct. I'm like, do not waste my time. What is your intention? Name and purpose kind of thing. And they said like, oh, I don't feel like I'm ready for a relationship. I feel like I have so much more work to do on myself. And this individual had a business, had a side hustle, extremely healthy. And in my head, I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Like, guess what their rising sign was? 3, 2, 1, Virgo. So this energy of constant improvement and striving for excellence, I respect, but we can all relate to potentially of chasing the golden carrot of, I'm not ready, I'm not ready, I'm not ready. I have to do so much before I can start my own business, or before I can get into a marriage, or before this. And sometimes there is work and healing to take place. I'm not saying that. But when you constantly stop yourself from expanding because you're not ready, it's often a fear of being seen, of having that success. Many other energies are coming through with that hesitation. I have many clients that I work with, and I can see they're clearly ready to start a business or leave a job that's not serving them. But in their mind, they're like, no, I have to stay at this job for another 6 months until the end of the year. I need to save up money. I need to do this. I need to do that. And that would be something as well with this Mercury retrograde, especially with Mars and the Sun in Libra. Where is that coming from? Or where is that balance of energy not being met? Or how you can show up for yourself. And by consistently knowing that you're doing the work, you're always going to be striving and growing in any relationship or in any aspect of yourself. So just some food for thought if you've had that thought of, I'm not ready to launch this, or I'm not ready to do that. where the underlying fear is. Being seen, being successful, because others saying you can't, others putting terms and conditions on your life. Evaluating. Because it comes through a lot in conversation with friends and clients. And I've had those own moments where I've had to take a look and be introspective. So as we move forward, like I said, we're not just talking about Mercury retrograde. We also have Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter all stationing direct during Libra season. If there's any astrology or astrologers that out there, I don't recall a time where 4 planets have stationed direct in a span of 12 days. So between October 6th and October 18th, 4 planets will station direct. When a planet is stationing, whether it's stationing retrograde or stationing direct, it's kind of like a ball when it's suspended in midair. It's not moving. There's no velocity. Or it can be the comparison of you're at a pit stop and you're sleeping. You're not moving. No one can really get access to you. People may try and call you, may wake up, but you're not actively able to help or to assist. It'll take you time to get out of bed, get ready, and to drive to help said person. That's the energy when these planets are stationing. They're not moving backwards, they're not moving forwards. So that's why I'm very curious to see between that new moon in Libra and right before the full moon in Aries, because that's a lot of energy shifting. So to break it down, October 6th, Pluto stations direct. We have that new moon in Libra, 6 planets in air signs. The next day, Venus ingresses into Sagittarius. The 9th is also very interesting because we have the Sun, Mars, and Mercury all conjunct at 16 degrees, which means that Mercury retrograde and Mars are Cazimi the Sun. When planets are Cazimi the Sun, they're said to be in the heart of the king, that their energies will be amplified. So it's curious and beautiful that this is all happening right after that new moon in Libra. Like we said, Venus will be at 29 degrees Scorpio, and then we have this huge conjunction all in Libra. So if you have your sun or any other planets or angles at 16 degrees Libra or any of the cardinal signs, you may feel very activated at that time. If anything, I would protect your energy or invest in some kind of healing or meditating or just taking time alone, because that'll be very intense. And these are just fun things to note when these major transits happen, to see how it manifests for you. And knowing which sign or which house is ruled by Libra in your natal chart will give you a hint on how that could manifest for you. And then literally the next day, on the 10th of October, Saturn stations direct. And then a week later or so, on the 18th, Mercury and Jupiter station direct. So like I said, it's like boom, 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 boom. It's kind of nonstop. The one silver lining I will say, when Mercury stations retrograde on the 27th, it's making a really nice trine to Jupiter, which will become exact a couple days later. So there's nice energy at the beginning of that retrograde, which may actually help us to get off on the right foot, or Jupiter allowing that blessing to take place. So like I said, those 12 days, I'm more curious about that than the retrograde in Mercury, to be honest. 4 planets stationing direct. And I'm also very excited to see how the rest of it plays out, because for everyone with dominant air energy, this buildup of Libra and Aquarius will be very activating for you, and for everyone to use their thoughts, words to enhance their spiritual practice accordingly. Because when Jupiter and Saturn station direct in Aquarius, I'm curious to see how that will affect the pandemic. Because we've really seen major transitions come through with Jupiter's transit. When it went into Pisces, everything opened. When it retrograded back into Aquarius, new rules came into place. And Saturn is in its domicile in Aquarius. And when they both station direct, I feel like they're going to be in good harmony for Aquarian themes to come through. I won't really get into this now. But for those of you who honor Aquarius in terms of their independence, on how they rebel, on how they're focused on community and equal rights and sovereignty, I'm very excited to see how that's all going to shift after those planets station direct, and as we get into Scorpio season, which has its own interesting energy. Because if you haven't noticed yet, The fixed signs have been really activated and been going through it, just how last year the cardinal signs were going through it with the Mars retrograde in Aries, squaring the Saturn retrograde in Capricorn. All year we've been really working with that Saturn-Uranus square, Saturn in Aquarius, Uranus in Taurus. If you remember back during August, we had that Mars opposite Aquarius energy, both of them squaring Uranus. There was like the giant red fire hole in the ocean and things were exploding. Yeah, that was August. It's been a year. And so all the fixed signs, Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, and Taurus, have been going through it because of these frictional, challenging aspects to Saturn and Uranus. So what that means is what we thought were maybe solid and stable, secure structures with the government, with finance, with business, with the world, are all being challenged. And I'm happy to see Aquarius with Saturn and Jupiter coming back into play, helping to shake things up or to challenge the status quo, or at least offer an opinion that may not be what everyone else is thinking. Aquarius really is known for being the one that speaks out and offers a different opinion. Whether it's right or wrong, there needs to be that voice to balance everything out. If everyone just agreed with one thing, it would be intense. Okay, so that's what we have to look forward to. I'm super excited. And for those of you who are in Aquarius rising or have lots of Aquarius energy, those next few months with those energies stationing direct are going to aid us significantly. So it's like, don't give up now. Yes, there's a lot of work. There's a lot of transitions. It's been, I think someone said in the comments, it's been an intense 2 years. Yes, but our souls chose this, to play this stimulation, to play this game, to live in this timeline. But secondly, if we look at the vast recession between 2008, 2009, some of the greatest companies to advance our society were birthed during that time. So what are you doing right now to set yourself up for success? You can look back in 10, 12, 50 years and not just look that you rolled over and succumbed to what other people thought and said, but you took back your power. That's such like an Aquarius energy. It's like, take back the power, independence. I've just really learned to grow into that Aquarius energy with my natal Saturn there, me going through my Saturn return. I just love the energy so much because it's so needed. So all the Aquarians out there, I always send you a lot of love and respect for everything that you do. I try not to play favorites, except I'm very vocal about my love for Cancers. But I do find, I'm sure for those who are passionate and enthusiastic about astrology, you'll notice how different people with different signs come through into your life at certain pivotal moments. Or if you keep attracting a certain sign, you're meant to learn from them, or that energy is speaking to you. Or if there's a sign you really don't like, you could have a malefic planet in that sign in your chart, or it's making frictional aspects, or it's just something that you don't like in yourself, so you have to heal, or you wish you had more of that sign and those characteristics. So just a sidebar there. But yeah, this next few weeks, I know a lot of astrologers or people online are like, this is the biggest astrological event. This is crazy. You have to pay attention to this. You have to pay attention to that. For me, this is pretty interesting with those 4 planets stationing direct with the influx of air energy. Please honor your mental and spiritual health at this time. It's a non-negotiable, honestly. People, I ask them almost every consult or every one-on-one session, what does your spiritual practice look like? And I would say 95% of the time, people are like, it used to be good and now it's not, or it's like, I don't have one. And it doesn't have to look cookie cutter, but it could just be at night that you take a bath and calm down to music. It could be you start the morning writing down your to-do list or appointments and giving gratitude for all them going well. You can make your own practice that doesn't even exist here, that isn't popular. Or you can go back to gratitude, which every spiritual guru, every coach, every person of power always brings it back to gratitude. There are just certain things that help you. Just like stretching always helps you get a better workout in. Meditation will help you have better control of your mind so it doesn't run away. And if you don't engage in these free activities and these free resources or podcasts from people that are experts in their field, it's hard to complain or to think that the world is ending or that no one's in your corner when you're not even showing up for yourself. It's a little bit of tough love in my Capricorn rising come out, but it's true. It's just all these things are available to you every single day. And with all this air energy, the more that you can prioritize and strengthen your mental and spiritual health, the better. And that may mean that you have to block, mute, or cut people out that are negative. Like I said, social media is wild. That documentary that came out on Netflix about how the owners and presidents of all these social media sites don't even let their children on them is pretty telling. So note that if you feel like you're busy, unproductive, heavy, lethargic, know where your energy is going. Where are your thoughts going? Who are you talking to? What conversations are you having? And that will probably point you in the right direction as to why and how your mental and spiritual health are developing. And it all comes down to those core beliefs, right? If you're around people that are always negative, you're probably not going to want to shine as bright or not be grateful for the opportunities that you've cultivated and worked your ass off for. This is also a common thing that comes through in consults where people I feel guilty, but this has been one of the best years of my life, but I don't want to say that because of what's been going on. You can honor the work that you've done. You can honor all the growth that's occurring without having to feel bad. Because pandemic or not, there are going to be people out there that just don't do the work and always play the victim. And if you don't stand in your power or remove yourself from those environments, you're always going to feel like you can't shine bright or step into your power fully or lead with confidence because you're always worried what other people will think. Again, that air energy also plays into Libra of kind of wanting to make sure everyone else is happy at the expense of yourself. Know your worth, what you're bringing through to the table, and own it. And please, 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 mental and spiritual health, if there's anything else, I guarantee if you incorporate 5, 10, 15 minutes every single day, the breakthroughs, the miracles, the productivity that you'll accomplish will be off the charts. And you will, if anything, those seeds will be planted to build a stronger infrastructure for everything moving forward. Especially in all those planets stationed direct. Stay tuned. I'm extremely excited to see how that plays out. So those are the major downloads, energy shifts, what I felt was important and prominent to talk about. If you have any questions, I'll try and go through these and ask ones that are general to see if I can help clarify anything to go through. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions and I'll try my best to answer ones that are good. Thank you for all the love and all the support. You guys are awesome. I really, truly appreciate it. Also, while I'm looking, all of the Libra season tarot scopes are now available on our YouTube channel. So if you want to go look at that after or over the weekend, they're all uploaded and ready to viewed. And yeah, laughing. Laughing is such a good energy. Being around jovial energy, whether that's a Netflix special or just people that make you laugh, that is a vibe that I would strongly recommend bringing back in, or just enhancing your own sense of humor. That would be great. One question, is Mercury retrograde going to be rough for any specific signs? Again, I don't think it is rough per se. You can have your own belief. If anything, if you are a Libra, have Libra energy, you may feel like you're working through that energy of finding your voice, of balancing your energy. That Libra will make squares or opposition to other cardinal signs, so Cancer, Capricorn, and Aries. So potentially if you have those placements, you might feel like you're really coming into your voice or maybe feeling sharp-tongued, especially between that October 6th and October 10th when we have Sun, Mercury, Mars. Please be careful. I feel like air signs are very pronounced with their words. You don't want to piss them off. Even Libras, when you push them to the limits, it's like no one is going to come out of this well. But especially during that time when Mars gets really close to Mercury, you may feel like you're not going to have any pleasantries or just allow other people. So especially during Mercury retrograde, you may send a text or an email impulsively and then later regret it. So that's why it's so important to get grounded first thing in the morning. So if something does go through your inbox or a DM or a text, it won't affect you as much because you've taken the time to ensure that you're steady and good to go. Legal issues for this month. So this will obviously differ for a lot of people. And remember, the main points of retrogrades are to reflect, to reassess. So if there are legal matters, relationships, business that you want to go back and revisit or revise, this would be the ample opportunity to do so. And again, Libra has such a connection to law as well, so does Sagittarius for that matter. But yeah, if you've been meaning to revise, go through things, to reevaluate, especially with legal matters, this is a great time to do so. Yeah, Abraham Hicks for the win as well. If you're looking for someone who is knowledgeable, fantastic, wise, funny, they always give such sharp quips when people ask questions or just kind of in their feelings or sometimes aloof, and they'll bring them right back down. So Abraham Hicks on any and all podcast streaming services are good to go. A good practice to protect yourself from entities or even just negative energy. I'm such a big proponent, most people know this, of black tourmaline, having it in your pocket, in your bag, in your trunk if you're driving. That's such a beautiful energy to use, earth energy. Again, protecting your energy. If you don't want to have your phone on and have people have access to you, just put on airplane mode. I'm surprised so many people keep their phone next to their head, whether it's on silent or it's on. No. You're protecting your peace, you're protecting your energy. You'll attend to it when you can. That may sound a little savage or insensitive, but I might not even wake up if the phone is on anyway. I'm a pretty deep sleeper. But if you just allow all these people to have access to you and you're so classically conditioned that whenever you hear a notification, you go onto your phone, you're literally allowing anything, any app, any person to have access to you right away, which they don't need to. You don't need to respond right away. So protecting your phone and your connection to it. And also too, if you just want to envision yourself surrounded by white light or golden light, or simply protecting yourself every single morning, every single night, you can envision your social media account protected in light, your family members, blessing them, protecting them, prayer. These are all different things that you can do that again are free and will just consistently build in your own spiritual practice and how you go about your day-to-day lives. Any advice for financial growth for new business owners? I'm praying for positive growth and change with regards to my financial position. So this is really good. I got this from my mentor, Michelle, at the Auric Life, but I believe it's also talked about by Rhonda Byrne, and I give it to clients as well when you're starting a new business. And I did this when I first started Stillwater, back when it was Stillwater Tarot. It's basically like you're invoicing the universe. So let's say content creation, attending to bookkeeping, working on your spiritual practice, you can assign a dollar amount to each thing that you're doing and invoice the universe. So if you left your stable corporate job and now you're fully trusting in this new business, every single time that you're actively working, you invoice the universe. So let's say you spend 4 hours on content creation that you're not getting paid, you invoice the universe X amount per hour. So you get to decide what your time is worth. It could be $100, it could be $500. We actually have to believe it. You have to believe that you're worth $500 an hour or that you're worth $100 an hour, but you can literally do it whatever feels best for you. And of course you can invoice half hours, a quarter of an hour, hour and a half, whatever that is. And you keep track of it every single day. But the catch is if you get paid or money comes to you, you have to minus that because that's the universe blessing you with money. So let's say on that one day you did 4 hours of content creation and it's worth $100 an hour. So that would be $400 that the universe owes you for that day. But let's say you had a client who paid you $100 an hour. So now the universe still owes you $300 and you keep track of that every single day. And let's say there's something that you really do not like doing. It's a lot of work for you. So let's say, personal example, just website maintenance or building up your website. If that's something that you don't enjoy, you can double the amount that you're invoicing the universe because you're really working hard and this is something that you're trusting and putting a lot of time and effort into. So now working on your website, you get to invoice $200 an hour. But again, this isn't something that you can just forget about or try and do at the end of the week because you'll forget or it won't be accurate. So this practice is extremely effective if you can adhere to it every single day. Because from personal experience, when I invoiced the universe every single day in 2019, I looked at the end result and I was like, the universe owes me a lot of money. Like I've been busting my tail and I want this money. Aries moon with a Capricorn rising. And by the end of 2020, I looked at my expenses and how much money I'd made and I was like, oh, thanks universe. So To be honest, I feel like that's one of the best exercises because you're being intentional. You're doing the work every single day. And again, you have to actually be honest. If you're working for an hour, it can't be that you're on your phone or texting or sending emails. It's actually a full hour of work. And you're going to consistently show up because you know that, again, if we're talking about Libra, the scales, it has to balance out. So that is my personal trick around money without talking about belief systems and scarcity and working on that and trauma. But if you just want an exercise that you can do every single day, that is really what I have been recommending to clients because I know it's worked for me. And I think it's just such a beautiful exercise and really shows how quick you can manifest and how the universe, God, source comes through. Is it too late to set intentions? No. I set intentions every single day. I set intentions before every single client. I have a very active throat chakra. So I love intentions. I love goals. It's never too late. You can always, even throughout the day, if you feel like you're getting frustrated or your head is in the clouds, you can come back down and really renew those intentions accordingly. Someone asked where I purchased my crystals. Lately, I've been gifted a lot, to be honest, but there's a store on Queen Street in Toronto near the Lululemon. I think it's called Geologic. I like the vibe in there personally, but I would always recommend that you trust your own intuitive guidance and kind of just pick up the crystals and get a sense of the shop. I was in Calgary recently and one of my clients took me to this crystal store and I was like, oh, these are marbles. Like, I just didn't get a good vibe. I didn't get a good vibe from the store. I didn't get a good vibe from the crystals. So again, a really great way to trust your intuition, to really go to trusted sources, whether it's in person, in the store, if you're not allowed because you're in lockdown for whatever reason, make sure you do your homework. And even if you're looking at an Instagram page or in the online store, you can gauge the energy from that shop owner or from that website and really trust that you're getting your crystals from an ethical source, okay? And yes, I will save this live so long as everything is good. I'll post it on Instagram and YouTube accordingly. Okay, I think that is everything. Thank you all for the kind words. I really appreciate that. And yeah, like I said, if you want to invest in our Mercury retrograde workshop, I go even into more detail. I break it down based on rising sign, how these energies will most likely show up for you. There's a meditation around expanding and healing your heart chakra. That's what I felt called to lead in and kind of have that meditation around. And the early bird price is available until Tuesday. So it's $19.99, but it's going to go up to $24.99 on Tuesday. So if you want to invest, it's on our website. All of the Libra season tarot scopes are up on YouTube. So subscribe, like, that content will always be available to you. And I think we're good. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for your love and support and your beautiful comments. I really appreciate it. And I'll talk to you soon, okay? Have a beautiful Libra season. Set your intentions, new terms and conditions, and please honor and attend to your mental and spiritual health, okay? You got this. Bye.